I don't know about you guys, but I know that I was personally told multiple times when I was younger that I could do anything I wanted as long as I set my mind to it. This was great when I was a young kid, but as I got older, it actually led to a lot of confusion. How could I really know what I wanted? I was so young and I didn't really understand what it was that I wanted to go after. I thought that I wanted to do something specifically with chemical engineering, but chemical engineering ended up being way different than I expected, and the job that I do today is actually pretty different from traditional chemical engineering. I'm able to do work that keeps me engaged technically and challenges me, but also allows me to practice things that I am passionate about. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tyler Warlow and I go by The Mengineer. I make videos on how to improve your life through your confidence, capabilities, and overall happiness. In today's video, I figured I would discuss a few talking points on how to go about finding a job that you are passionate about, or in other words, finding your dream job. I'll explain why I put that in quotations later, but I'll be giving some practical advice as well as some tips to go about pursuing this. If that sounds interesting to you, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to join me along in this self-improvement journey. One of the first things that I want to go ahead and point out in our constantly evolving society is that you do not need to go to college anymore to be successful. If you find something that you're truly interested in and you start diving in deep and learning it to the best of your ability, there is really no need for you to officially go to college, especially if they're just going to be teaching you things that you already know. I know several people that went into different trades because they found something they were interested in pretty much right out of high school, and they just dove into learning it and practicing it to the best of their ability, and now they have very successful businesses. And with our world moving more and more into this online culture, there are more and more opportunities for you to start businesses at less and less cost. That means that in order for you to be successful, whatever your definition of that is, you really need much less upfront investment. College is getting more and more expensive, and the resources that are available online to learn anything for free are becoming more and more available. So don't feel like you have to go that traditional route of getting a college degree unless you're going into something that's very specialized, something like chemical engineering or a neurosurgeon. Of course, then you'll need to go to college because that offers specialized training to help develop you so that you are going to be the best that you can be at that. But there are so many other things like owning your own business that you don't need to follow that traditional route. If you find something that you can teach yourself for free and you really enjoy it and you're able to pursue it with just as much passion as you might go after something in college, then do it. A lot of people go into college just because they think it's the next logical step, but they don't actually know why they want to do it. If you still think that you're interested in a job that requires a college education, I recommend maybe taking a year or two and seeing if you can get an internship or something under your belt without going to college. There's typically a lot of small businesses that will allow this sort of thing, and it will allow you to get a better idea of whether or not you actually like the work. The next thing that I'll talk about is going to apply to whether you are in college and learning something or you have already started a job, and that's going to be to audit your time. This is going to be a pretty simple process. Throughout a week, make sure that you track the different activities that you do throughout a day and track them accurately. If you're doing some sort of meeting, put that down. If you're having to do focused work on a specific project, put that down. And you're gonna wanna track those throughout the day, probably for about a week. Then by the time that you come to the end of a day, or at the end of the week, if you don't have the time to do this every day, you're gonna then wanna go back through those different activities. You're then gonna wanna determine if that activity was something you enjoyed doing and kinda got some excitement from, or if it was something that you really weren't looking forward to and it more drained your energy. For example, when I was in college, I really did not enjoy the process design work. It actually felt like a tedious process to me where I felt like I was learning more theory than the actual practical application of the work. So when I started applying to jobs, I kept that in mind. I didn't apply for jobs that were centered around design work. Rather, I applied for jobs that were centered around process optimization or testing, because for me, I enjoy getting presented with a problem and trying different routes to get the best solution, or process optimization. That way, I learn the process and the technical aspects of it more naturally, but I also see how everything works into each other in a real life application. So that's the type of job that I went after. If I had gone after a job that focused on the design work, then I really think that I probably wouldn't have enjoyed that job, because it was something that would have drained my energy all day, every day. This applies to people who are working too. Let's say that you have to take these different types of meetings, or you have to do technical work. If you're someone that gets much more enjoyment out of being a mentor to people and helping them learn and take the next step in their career, then you might be better suited for a people management role. But if you're someone who really likes to work on their own and dive into the technical aspect and learn the inner workings of specific things in the process, then you might be more suited for a technical role. And you're going to be able to identify which of those routes you do by auditing your time, because a lot of times you don't realize like what is actually draining your energy. But if you take the time to note the different activities and then go through them and note how you feel, you'll start to see different trends of what you like and don't like. So use that to your best ability to decide a path moving forward. But what kind of things do you guys enjoy about your jobs? Let me know with a comment down below. One of the next things that I recommend is to stop focusing on the title of your job and more on the tasks of your job. The work that you're going to be doing on a day-to-day basis is going to dictate whether or not you actually enjoy your role. A lot of people think that they have this goal of getting promoted to management as fast as possible, but they don't have a realistic understanding about the responsibilities that come with that role. For instance, have you ever actually paid attention to how much time your managers have to work? I know at one of my past jobs, my managers would regularly work 60 to 70 hours a week because they had so much work to do that if they didn't put in that time, then things just wouldn't get done. You need to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, are you ready for that level of responsibility and everything that comes with it? The title looks great and shiny in your mind because everyone wants to be a manager, because a lot of people associate that with succeeding and climbing the ladder and making themselves better off financially. But a lot of people don't realize the stress that comes along with that. What a lot of people also don't realize is that when you tend to step into management, you can take away some of your previous responsibilities. So if you're already doing work that you really enjoy, do you really want to give it up? That kind of touches on the point that I had just made about auditing your time. If you were getting a lot of enjoyment from doing the technical work, stepping into more of a managerial role will take you away from that a little bit. There are plenty of cases of people who step into a leadership role and realize that it's really not the right seat for them. So they will actually take a quote unquote demotion and come back down into a technical role, but they'll be much happier and do much better job in that role, which then leads to greater success in their career. Next up, be patient and take the time to learn new things. It is incredibly common, especially with people who are just entering a new job or a new industry, to get really frustrated with the industry and consider dropping out fairly quickly. But what a lot of people don't realize is they are typically experiencing that frustration because things aren't as easy as they once were. A lot of people deal with a little bit of insecurity when they don't feel like they know something. It can be incredibly frustrating to be having a conversation with someone and not understand a word that they're saying. My point is here that you should give yourself some time to actually learn and understand the industry or the work that you're doing. At my first job, I used to experience a lot of frustration when people were talking to me about the different ways to do code because I really didn't understand it, or at least I didn't think I did. Once I took a course that helped me understand the fundamentals behind the coding, things started clicking and I was able to understand things much easier. Once I was able to have those conversations, I started getting a lot more enjoyment out of my work because it was easier for me to problem solve and come up with different ideas and solutions to things that we were experiencing. There's always going to be that initial resistance when you're learning something new, but stick with it, push through it, and trust me, you're gonna start seeing compounding returns on that. Things are gonna get easier and easier for you to understand, and as a result, you're gonna enjoy your work more because you're not gonna feel like every single day is a grind to get through. My final point is going to be willing to be flexible and take advantage of opportunities that come your way. It's always good to have an idea or a plan of what you want to do. But if you strictly adhere to that plan, then it is very likely that you might let other opportunities pass you by. When I first entered college, I came in doing chemical and paper science engineering. I was almost positive that I was going to go into the paper industry and quickly go up to a management role and go through. However, the work-life balance in that industry is very different than that of the pharmaceutical industry. There's a lot more work and working in a lot less safe and messier environments. So when the opportunity came my way to step into the pharmaceutical industry via an automation route, I took it. Once I got some experience underneath my belt in the pharma industry, I was able to go and take advantage of other opportunities with the company that I'm with now. But I would never be in the place that I am now, a job where I enjoy the work that I do and have a good work-life balance, if I hadn't been willing to be flexible and shift from my original plan. Nowadays, there are so many opportunities. Like I said earlier, the world is constantly changing. We're moving more and more into an online culture, and communication is becoming easier than ever. People nowadays have a tendency to change industries multiple times. This tends to happen less and less as you get older, as you start to need more stability in your life. In my opinion, it's incredibly important, especially when you're young, to be flexible and take advantage of any opportunity that comes your way. Whether that's an opportunity to switch industries or learn something that you haven't gotten to touch before. One of the great things that I love about my current company is they take the opportunity to try and train you cross-disciplinary. So you get to see all the different areas of the pharmaceutical industry. Our managers have discussions with us about what types of projects that we'd like to be on. And if I wasn't open to working on different types of projects, then I wouldn't necessarily get the opportunity to learn the new things. But because I'm willing to be open and flexible to trying different projects and trying different things that I haven't necessarily worked on before, it's allowed me to learn so much more than I would have otherwise. By being flexible and open to new opportunities, you are only setting yourself up for success in the future, whether that is for learning new things or progressing quickly in your career. It's just going to be a great choice for you to make. But that's gonna bring us to the end of today's video, y'all. If you found this information to be helpful or informative at all, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to join me along in this self-improvement journey. If you have any of your own thoughts, ideas, or opinions, please be sure to let me know with a comment down below. If you're interested in more videos like this one where I talk about career-related topics, be sure to check out this video right here where I talk about when you should leave your job. If you're interested in more of my most recent stuff, be sure to check out this video right here. But until the next time, this is the Mengineer, signing off.